After all the leaks, after all the speculation, it finally happened. The big reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. And despite the huge improvements made pretty much throughout the entire console, it's still impossible not to feel kind of disappointed by the whole thing. Let me explain. When it comes to the hardware itself, we're seeing huge improvements, especially when it comes to the one thing that the Switch desperately needed more of, that being performance. While Nintendo themselves are still being rather coy, from the leaks we do know that it will be using an Nvidia Tegra 239 chip. In practice, that means that they will have one ARM high performance core, 3 performance cores, and 4 efficiency cores. The GPU itself is going to be Ampere based, so the same architecture behind the RTX 30 series, and will feature 1536 CUDA cores in total, which, given how the original Switch has 1/6 of that in itself gives you some indicator exactly of how much more powerful the successor will be. And as you can expect from the fact it is going to be running NVIDIA Silicon, DLSS and ray tracing will both be available, though again the details are kind of scarce. And to finish things off, we do have 12 GB of 7500 mega transfer per second memory. All that extra performance will be wasted though if you just are still stuck with a 720p 60Hz screen. That's why the built-in display is getting upgraded to 1080p, and it is going to support up to 120Hz, though they are unfortunately going back to an LCD screen, ditching the highly popular OLED, which is kind of annoying, but oh well, at least you do still get HDR, though again we have no idea what the peak brightness on it is going to look like right now. And while the screen itself is going to be bigger than on the Switch 1, come on, still playing on a tiny thing is for losers. The big kids play on a proper TV, and there you will be actually able to play at up to 4K, though you will be locked to just 60 FPS. Now you might think to yourself, well, that isn't too much of an issue. I mean, no games would literally even run 4K 120 on a Switch, right? And while true, it also means you won't be even able to get all of those frames in things that would be able to run it, like super simple 2D games, or hey, even just the menu and having everything feel nice and smooth at 120. It is most likely just a limitation based on the bandwidth of the HDMI they are using, which is definitely a big shame. Though in a grand scheme of things, that's far from the biggest issue, but we'll get to that. Other minor improvements include changes to the Joycons themselves, including a brand new magnetic snap-on mechanism, and one thing that actually taking away is the IR sensor on the right Joycon. However, something that does get added to it instead is the C button, that mysterious C button which we had no idea what it's going to do, and now we know. It's chat. It's basically just voice chat. Yes, they are bringing a voice chat into it in the most Nintendo way possible, even though, let's be honest, most people are just going to use Discord rather than this. Now, while it does support screen sharing, it does look atrocious just from the trailers they have shown so far, being both low bitrate and low frame rate at the same time. Though I guess it's nice that they're being honest just how bad it's going to be in the promotional materials. Another thing you can actually do with it is hook up a camera, and yes, they will be selling their own camera to go alongside with it, and turn it on so other people can see you, both in this little chat panel, but also in some supported games. Though again, it looks pretty bad, especially when it applies this weird green screen cutout effect. But one other really exciting thing being added to the Joy-Cons is the fact that they're also doubling as a mouse now, being able to just drag them across the surface. Now, it'd be very interesting to see exactly how good of a mouse they are without anything like a mouse pad, given how I don't think too many people will be carrying one of those around just to whip it out and use it with a Switch. And of course, PC games that favor mouse support, like for example strategy games like Civilization, are going to take advantage of it. Now that all sounds pretty exciting, right? But now is the point in the video where I drive a stake through your enthusiasm for this with one simple thing: the price. With Nintendo charging $450 for this thing. That is an absurd price, but then the situation gets even weirder. If you look at the Japanese pricing of it, it comes down to just shy of 50,000 yen, or around $342. So why exactly is Nintendo charging us so much more in the West here? Is it just a preference for the domestic market? Or is it another consequence of the American tariffs and another reason to yow curse you, Donald? Or is it just Nintendo being greedy? Well, it's probably a bit of each, let's be honest. Meaning that as it is right now, it is kind of a difficult sell, especially given how there isn't too much right out of the bat to fully take advantage of the increased performance of this system. Sure, there is the new open world Mario Kart, but that is going to cost you a pretty penny at $80 standalone. And while games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are obviously the biggest candidates to see upgrades in both graphical fidelity and performance, you have to purchase an upgrade which actually makes the game take advantage of all of that additional goodness of the Switch 2. So all of a sudden Nintendo are nickel and diming us on the level of someone like EA. If you really want to push this new chip though, look no further than some third-party titles like Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, that is actually coming to the Switch, and yes, I'm so looking forward to seeing how badly it runs. So it isn't looking too good right now, and good luck even trying to pre-order one, at least on Nintendo themselves, given how they have a very weird system trying to prevent scalpers, where you have to be a Nintendo Switch Online member and have more playtime than the other plebs, which I guess I applaud them for trying to prevent scalpers, but at the same time it also excludes many people who maybe just don't have NSO because they don't play online. So it is going to be a pretty interesting launch when this thing drops on the 5th of June. So are you going to try and pre-order one? Well, let me know down in the comments below, but to be fair, I have no idea what kind of person would actually pre-order a console that's such a mess right now. Okay, I'm that person because I need it for review purposes. So if you want to help me get that money back, maybe check out our Patreon, because even a single $1 a month truly goes a long way. Plus huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Avrona, Badash Voka, Patrick Harrison, not a pseudonym, Mick Sumner, Shane Ulcroft, and Level Up. But anyway, that's what it's. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.